practice that has shown results, then taking good practices to scale, funding, matching not just the amount of funds, but matching the right investment with the right partner, because one partner can't sort of have that impact that is desired by the countries. That was another very important aspect that came out, especially with respect to inclusion. So the element of permanence was discussed quite a bit, the element of the risks and assumptions, the quality of theory of change, the upstreaming of the theory of change, developing theory of changes together in partnership with various donors. So again, to deepen the impact of learning from evaluations and the role that evaluation can actually play in helping countries improve their practices for deepening their impact. The complementarities of partnerships were discussed to quite an extent, and a lot of emphasis was placed with respect to the pre-diagnostic stage of a project, and that's where I think even donor partners could play a very important role to look at the gaps, and not only the gaps, but what works, what does not, what has not worked, lessons from evaluation, and what may not work, what are the risks that are associated with our interventions. All in all, I just feel it's not just a cafe, but a village that takes to deepen impact, and it was very clear the number of dimensions are many, and complementarities are already there, we just need to build on it. Thank you.
Stood out in terms of how we can build back better from crises and strength.
Now I hear myself twice. Good morning. I'm so glad you all came. It's the day 4 at 9 in the morning, so you know, you got plus points already. So I'm very, very happy to be here. It's a great, great pleasure to discuss this super important topic. I will introduce and set the stage for the panelists, but before, Jigme will say a few words.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jigme Sonam from Asia Pacific Evaluation Association. So before we get this panel discussion started, we would first like to pass the torch of evaluation to Sabine as the moderator of the session, and hopefully she and us can pass it on to you in spirit, and you all can pass it on amongst your peers and institutions. So before we begin,
So good morning, everyone. Welcome to this important conversation on institutionalizing evaluation through intergenerational partnerships, youth engagement, and governance innovation in Asia Pacific. The session explores the intersection of two powerful forces. On one hand, the institutionalization of evaluation within governance systems and the active engagement of youth or young emerging evaluators in shaping and sustaining these systems. Together, they not only, form a dual imperative, but also a tremendous opportunity that we should be aware of. National leadership plays a critical role here. It is governments who can open the space for youth to participate meaningfully in governments. It is leadership that can ensure evaluation is not just an exercise, but a tool for accountability, learning, and innovation. It is a leadership that can recognize intergenerational collaboration as a strength, not a challenge, a way of blending the wisdom of experience with the energy and fresh perspectives of youth. But how do these innovative approaches to governance play out on the ground? How do countries move from commitment to practice, from aspiration to institutionalization? That is the journey we want to unpack together today. We are fortunate to have with us esteemed panelists who will guide us through both regional and national experiences in the region. First, we will hear insights from the Asia-Pacific Evaluation Association, APEA, on strategies for youth engagement, capacity development programs, and advocacy for inclusion. Then we will learn from the Mongolian Evaluation Association the country-level experience on institutionalizing evaluation and integrating youth engagement into governance systems. Through these discussions, we hope you will not only gain inspiration, but also reflect on how each of us can contribute to advancing intergenerational partnerships in our own evaluation ecosystems. The aim is not only to share cases, but to spark commitments and practical ideas that move this agenda forward across the Asia-Pacific region. With that, let us start, and I will introduce the panelists, and then we give you the insights from the region and from Mongolia. So first, it's a great pleasure to introduce Ms. Urintuya Dombon. She is a seasoned public administrator and political researcher with over 30 years of experience in government oversight, social protection, political affairs, and organizational leadership. Currently, she serves as the head of the Department of Evaluation and Monitoring at the Authority for Government Supervision in Mongolia, very, very important institution, leading strategic evaluation initiatives and ensuring effective practices of government institutions across the country. Her career spans several high-level roles, including advisor to the President of Mongolia, chairman of the Mineral Resources Authority, head of the Democratic Party Affairs Department, and youth organization. As the Vice President of the Democratic Women Union, she continues to advocate for gender equality and civic engagement. Her career reflects a deep commitment to democratic development, institutional reform, and community empowerment in Mongolia. Welcome, Ms. Urintuya. Then we have Jigme Sonam, whom you just saw with the wonderful torch. He is a sustainability consultant at Terama with a background in environmental management. He serves on the board of directors of the Asia-Pacific Evaluation Association and the Evaluation Association of Bhutan. We want to hear specific examples from Bhutan today. And is a co-leader of Eval Youth Bhutan and task force member of Eval Youth Asia. Jigme brings expertise in the environmental sector, sustainability, and culturally responsible evaluation, and is committed to strengthening evaluation capacity across Bhutan and the Asia-Pacific region. Welcome, Jigme. Next, we have Chimgi Ulsuren. She is the president and the founder of Mongolian Evaluation Association, as well as the CEO and founder of Cognos International, an evaluation and research firm specialized in the fields of socioeconomy, market, agriculture, environment, and health in Mongolia. She has 15 years of professional experience working as a researcher and evaluator for many of the UN agencies, World Bank, Asian Development, and the European Union, among others, as well as government agencies, including the National Statistics Office and the private sector. Chimgi is a member of the Professionalization of Evaluation Task Force of International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation, IOSE, and a member of the Professionalization of Evaluation and VNR SDG teams of APEA. Welcome, Chimgi. And last but not least, we have with us Dr. Asela Kalumgampitia. I hope I spell it wonderfully. He works for the UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office as National Evaluation Capacity Development Specialist. He is a visiting lecturer of the Master of Evaluation University of Saarland, Germany, and a visiting lecturer of the Postgraduate Diploma in Monitoring and Evaluation at the University of Sri Jayewardenepura in Sri Lanka. He is the immediate past president of the APEA, and Asela has been working in the monitoring and evaluation field over 2 decades, including for the United Nations. His main expertise area is national evaluation capacity development. Welcome. Now, let's start, and we start with 2 features. You will get these 2 features, one after another. First, the outlook on the region, Asia-Pacific region, and Jigme will present, what they are doing there, and then we will delve on in more detail in the panel discussion, and afterwards Chimgi will go and present briefly what the association is doing in Mongolia. So Jigme, please.
Good morning again, everyone. To begin with, I know our topic is a bit of a mouthful, but in simple terms, what I can extrapolate from this topic can be how we can intermingle the youth and the government, especially in policy making and the situation right now in the Asia Pacific region. And why should it matter? Youths today, although they might be youths now, 5 years, 10 years down the line, they will be the ones who will be managing and handling the situation because there's always a phase out and phase in, and therefore, youths now, evaluation leaders tomorrow. And speaking about the regional youth engagement, uh, in the Asia Pacific region, more specifically, if we were to go in the Asia Pacific Evaluation Association topic, we have leadership. Excuse me, we have youths in the leadership roles. For example, youths hold real power on APIA's 2024 to 2025 board. For example, if you can just see on the left, that is our Vice President of Asia Pacific Evaluation Association, and then myself as the board member there. And secondly, when it comes to strategy and accountability, engaging youth YEEs. In case if you don't know what a YEE is, it's a young and emerging evaluator. So engaging YEs is baked into the Asia Pacific Evaluation Association's evaluation strategy. And that way, this will boost the evaluators' capacity with local context. On the ground practice, uh, it, APIA sponsors and helps with a lot of youth engagement activities. To name a few would be the Eval Indigenous Practices, Eval Indigenous Project, as well as the translation of the monitoring and evaluation strategy that we had into our own local languages. As you can see in the photo there, that is one of the activities that is taking place in the Philippines by our finance officer, Erica. And lastly, advocacy and capability upgrades. So what APIA does is we do a lot of collaborative projects and activities with other agencies. To name a few would be Eval Indigenous and Eval Youth Asia as well, which I'm also under. So what we do with Eval Youth and what APIA does with them is that we try to host webinars, peer-to-peer sessions, and small, simple workshops while also giving grants for projects. And that way, we're not only helping the youths in their build up and training, but it also gives them an opportunity to show their local contextual situation and scenario. So what APIA is doing to support the youth is that visibility and access is given because whenever there is any recruitments or hiring for APIA, we try to prioritize the YEEs and give them more visibility. So that's why we say drop mics, not resolutions like Trump did at Paris Agreement. Uh, and regarding the financial part, getting paid, since I kept almost there because we give preferences to the youth, but we also try to keep in mind that internships and job trackings are it clearly favors the youth applicants. And speaking on money moves, uh, if you just see there at the bottom right, we have our upcoming APIA conference happening in Tokyo, Japan from November 11 to November 14. So if youths were applying for it or would like to participate and join in that, we have a discounted rate for youths at our fifth conference. And not to mention, there are also the many grants that I mentioned earlier, like Eval Indigenous, so where these are also sponsoring and giving opportunities for youths to come and attend the conference. So if you just see the background here, this is one of the projects that APIA initiated and then Evaluate Bhutan along with Evaluation Association Bhutan took a part in. This is the Doya community. It's a socio-ethnic group in the southern borders of Bhutan. And what APIA uh, coordinated with Bhutan is a small journaling or knowledge sharing between this community and APIA, where we learned what their culture, lifestyle, and their traditions are. So, if I were to speak on the spotlight in Bhutan, The YE representation is present even in Bhutan. Myself, as one of the board members of Evaluation Association of Bhutan, I also have another board member who is from the government and is also a youth, a young and emerging evaluator. Excuse me. And the vision for Bhutanese youth in evaluation moving forward is we are now looking to take on more of these grants. If you just see at the bottom, sorry for skipping up and down, small grants like the seedling or the germinating grants by Eval Indigenous, supported by Asia Pacific Evaluation Association. Then we are also building partnerships with Bhutan's evaluation authorities formally, because one of the board members of our association is the chief of monitoring and evaluation in the Prime Minister's office. And also, we are organizing a lot of youth activities, not as much now because a lot of manpower is shifting from Bhutan outside now, but we are trying to revamp our uh, activities and try to bring it back in full drive. And finally, we are trying to develop youth-friendly training modules, if not an entire full module, workshop sessions where people can get their exposure to what monitoring and evaluation really is. And right now, even APIA is about to release and launch our first free online MNE module where people can come in and just learn it. So maybe if we could incorporate that into the local aspect as well. And finally, what are the key takeaways and call to action that I would like to advocate here today to all the participants is that intergenerational collaboration fuels system resilience and fresh ideas. What I'm trying to convey from this is that strong bodies like AEW here, ADB, APIA, even our national chapters or VOPEs, volunteer organizations for promoting evaluation, like Evaluation Association of Bhutan, Mongolian Evaluation Association, we have to try to back up the youth, not just with words, but also, if possible, with funding, with platforms for mentorship. Maybe if we cannot fund them, if funding is always an issue, now that we have the virtual capabilities and possibilities, we can also use those platforms for mentorship and for trainings. YEs are already leading, don't just invite them. So what I mean by this is, if I look around and when I have been looking around in this conference for the last few days, I see a lot of familiar faces who are also youth, and they are not just coming here, but they are also presenting. They have some sessions here or there. So therefore, the governance bodies or the associations should not just look to invite them and just have them participate, just have them watch the presentations. Maybe be a part of the presentation, and maybe they can give us insights that is quite new and novel in this field. And finally, as it was mentioned to me just yesterday by someone I was talking with, they mentioned that Asia is the spear right now. Asia is where you want to be, because this is where the talent is right now. The only thing we are lacking, I feel, and what most people are feeling, is the help in infrastructure and investment. So therefore, if we could come together and find different avenues of investment, of grants, resources, then I'm sure the youth-driven evaluation methods will start showing results in the near future. Thank you. Next, I would like to, I think we'll immediately move to Ma'am Chimgi's presentation.
One. Okay. Okay, good morning, and I'm so happy to see you guys in this session, and thanks for coming in. And I'm so grateful for presenting in this with the esteemed panelists on this important discussion. And so let me start. Okay, before I go into how we are engaging young and emerging evaluators in our national evaluation system systematically, I would like to give a very brief overview of current national evaluation system snapshot in Mongolia, so to put in everything in the perspective. So CEWALD is a German institute. They have Evaluation Globe report, which looks at the national evaluation system in 3 components: political system, social system, and professional system. So these are the observation and the neutral and independent assessment of professional evaluation assessation. So do not take it as a government voice, but it's more like my assessment and our professional association's assessment. So when it comes to political system, I would say the national evaluation system is when they talk about monitoring and evaluation, it's more towards monitoring, compliance, and inspection. But in the last few years, there are some strides towards real classical evaluation we are all talking about these days. So the current structure is that Authority for Government Supervision, which was established 3 years ago, is a key government body in terms of monitoring and evaluating public policies and programs. And Ms. Ure, she is leading the evaluation and monitoring department of that government body. And each ministry, we have 16 ministries, each ministry has its M&E department, and Parliament has M&E department, and all 21 provinces has M&E department. And we have law on development policy and planning and its management, and also just 4 months ago, the government adopted the resolution number 43, which in the first time they separated monitoring from evaluation. So it's a game change in the government, in the whole national evaluation system. And Ms. Ure was a key champion behind all this resolution, separating the monitoring from evaluation. And when it comes to social system, it's more on how public and the society is understanding evaluation. So I would say there is almost no understanding in among public, because evaluation is often perceived by them as valuation, more on the financial term. So we often get the phone calls asking, oh, we just had a car accident. Will you evaluate the cost of it? We just have leakages from our upper household, and there's some drainage. Will you evaluate? So it clearly shows that evaluation in the policy and program, this development evaluation sense, it's not really there among the public. So that shows they do not have understanding how to hold government accountable for all these public policies and programs. And last but not least, the professional system. So this looks at whether the country has the academic program on M&E, and whether the country has evaluation association or networks, and also any training opportunity. So I would say we do not have yet the academic program on evaluation, but we are starting the discussion with the National University of Mongolia to do the Masters in Evaluation. And also the Mongolian Evaluation Association, we are doing what we can at this moment in the short and medium term, offering summer evaluation bootcamp, workshops, tailored training opportunities for the organizations since 2021, our establishment. Okay, sorry, I missed. Okay, so you see a nice tree on the left side. So this May, we, with DIVAL and the Authority for Government Supervision, and in collaboration with the Mongolian Evaluation Association, we implemented first INSEE in Asia, and then out of 10 scores, it's a standardized score, so it's comparable between region and different countries. So out of 10, we got 4.4, which shows clearly there's so much work to do, and I think Ms. Ure will elaborate on that later. So that was the context in the country level. So now we look at just a brief snapshot of our Evaluation Association. So in the past 4 years, up to now, we have about 260 members, 9 board members, and almost half of them are young and emerging evaluators. And we have members from government, academic, private sector, international organization, and we have also membership from not only from Mongolian people, but open to other countries and different regions. So now let's delve into how specifically we are engaging young and emerging evaluators in our, the building evaluation capacity evaluation system. So we try to also create some foundational documents in Mongolia. So OECD DAC glossary, the Canada-funded merit project was doing it 2 years ago because so much confusion between monitoring and evaluation and different outcome, output, all kind of translated in the same word in Mongolian language. So that merit project took an initiative to translate the glossary, and then Mongolian Evaluation Association contributed to that translation, and they published it 2 years ago. And our association, we on our own translated, asking the permission from OECD that whether we could translate the better criteria for better evaluation. And 2 years ago, most of the volunteers who translate were young and emerging evaluators, and we edited and co-launched with the OECD. Their contribution was very immense in these key documents. Also, you know IPTET, right? The Switzerland used to host this IPTET course. And the first 1 week, we go through these foundational core courses. And they have seven core modules. And we got permission to translate all 7 modules. And our young and emerging evaluators were the key players in translating them. And in May, when we implemented INSE in Mongolia, so we had 10 volunteer consultants, and 6 of them were young and emerging evaluators. So it was really with the leadership of Ms. Ure from the government, who really advocated young and emerging evaluators to the DIVAD, so we were able to engage them in this big conference. So you see some of the pictures of the young and emerging evaluators. They were so fascinated being a part of this historic conference in Mongolia. Okay, it's a quite a big crowd thing, but just a very timeline of how our association is engaging young and emerging evaluators from the day one that we established in 2021. So in our strategic goals, we have the strategic goal 3 clearly says we will promote and support young and emerging evaluators. So walking that talk, we supported the establishment of Evaluate chapter in 2023 over there. Also, whenever there's a chance of initiating, we try to give resources to our young and emerging evaluators. So we launched a 6-month internship in 2023. Is there a pointer? Okay, yeah. So this is the 6-month internship, and then starting from April, the UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office and other Eval for Action initiative, they launched Youth in Evaluation Standards and Youth in Evaluation Week. So we started actively taking parts in that, and then you see some of the international and government organizations signing the manifesto that promising they will support youth in their work. So in 2023, we used to have 7 board members, and then we added 2 young and emerging board members to represent young youth voice. So now we have 9 board members, even addition of 1. So out of 9 board members, we have 3 young and emerging evaluators at this moment. So whenever there's a leadership retreat or this kind of workshop, we also invite our young and emerging evaluators. And in June 2023, we organized first Mongolia evaluation case competition. And the winners of them competed for the World Evaluation Case Competition. So last 3 years, we became Asian champion 3 times. So it really shows the reason why we are supporting them, coaching them for this evaluation case competition is they are our next cadres of evaluators, and they have to know what are the global norms, global key trends in evaluation and methods. So this is a very good exercise. We excite them, get them excited, and then really applying their knowledge into practice. And then we had also first summer boot camp 2 years ago. And then the first one was held in our office, and second one with the kind support of UNICEF. We held it in Mongolia, beautiful countryside. And this year we did it with the collaboration with Lanzhou University and UNICEF in Lanzhou, China. So expanding the application to the whole world. It was first only Mongolia, and then Mongolia, China, and now all the world. And next year we will do it in Mongolia, and we will open the application soon, next year. So spread the word to your young and emerging evaluators in your countries. So this is quite the journey we had. And then UNFP, this Eval for Action campaign, they have this youth and evaluation standards. So, we are doing some things quite chaotically. Like whenever there's a great excitement in the evaluation community, we take the chance to implement it. But now evaluation standards has really putting all this together in a systematic way. And then we also assess ourselves how we are doing using these 7 dimensions: leadership, accountability, practice, advocacy, and capacity development, knowledge management, communication, human resource, financial. So through all these 7 dimensions, we self-assess how we are doing. So 2 years ago, we submitted our self-assessment, and UNFPA validated, yeah, okay, you are a super champion. So along with other 5 organizations, we became super champion. And this year, we became legacy super champion. So thank you, UNFPA Eval for Action, really recognizing our efforts, and we will do so more in the future. So this is a picture of this boot camp this year in Lanzhou University. Only 20 of us went to China, along with the other 90 participants from other countries. Okay, this is the last slide. So now next step for us is, I feel like our association is going towards the next level of organizational structure, more to mature level. So this requires us to put everything more in a systematic way. So now we really want to systematically include young and emerging evaluators in our national evaluation system. So you see our now young and emerging evaluators really doing on their own this assessment and evaluation, and how to engage public into the public policy and raising their voices to the public policies and evaluation. So they had this great initiative, got the seed funding from APIA, the reindeer people, because the government had this restricted area, protection area, and they were not able to hunt any more animals. So anemia, the disease anemia, is starting to raise. So we went there to very remote area in Mongolia and really listen to their needs and how they can, in the next step of policy, they can raise their voice. And this year we have a MOU with DIVAL, and they are supporting us in 4 areas, and one of them is really systematically training 20 of the Mongolian Evaluation Association members to become training of trainers, and they are training us to do the policy evaluation, SDG evaluation, country-led evaluation. So it's now, we are very excited that we will have a cadre of young and emerging evaluators who are ready to be mobilized for our government's needs whenever there's a chance. And also, so parliament and government, cabinet secretariat level, they now all approaching us. Hey, there's this task force. Would you mind, take a part? So, after 3 years of quite the work, I think at the national level we are recognized, and they are calling us to their different task forces, which is a great thing. And so this is a culmination of everything I explained before. So we decided, the board of directors at our association, we decided, okay, let's have a policy evaluation task force next to our evaluation association and invest them systematically wherever there's a training opportunity, wherever there's an international fora, we will just send them, invest them, so that they can be ready to be mobilized wherever there's a chance of national level task force or government, parliament level. So it's a great win-win opportunity for both the young and the emerging evaluators, also the national government system at the national level. Yes, and I think that's it. And you can, we are very active on social medias, because one of our key really mandate is that we would like to get excited our young generation about this evaluation field. So whenever they have some contribution, we praise them, we recognize them on our social media. So that's why I think the number of the members who are joining our association is, I think it's the result of social work media sharing. So I think it works in a good way and most of the times in our association. Thanks very much.
Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you so much to Jigme and to Chimgi. We see some, very interesting snapshots of, what is going on at the regional level with a focus on Bhutan, and we will delve into that in a minute. And also we see what's going on in Mongolia. And the interesting part is really, for me, when I hear it, I see that in both cases there is an enabling environment for reforms. This is what I see very strongly. I see it with Ms. Urintoya, leading this agenda and enabling this, change to happen in a way that there is no blockage, there is no, impediments to move forward. And then, of course, the leadership. So these two things are coming for me very strongly from what I heard. Let's ask Jigme first. If you mentioned a few things on Bhutan, I would like to ask follow-up questions. How would you say, in summary, on the highlights that you mentioned, what would you say, what regional strategies and approaches have proven most effective in engaging YEEs? What is it that you would see, okay, if you do it this way, it works? Or if you do it this way, it works better than the other way?
Thank you for the question, Sabine. You mentioned in Bhutan context, right?
You can zoom in on Bhutan,
Okay,
because it's interesting case. Yeah.
So moving into what really works and what gets the youth going when it comes to the Asia Pacific region, or later on when I'm being specific to Bhutan, in my opinion and what we've noticed from the end results, when you see how many people are participating, how many people are being engaged, the webinar sessions that we conduct on a monthly basis, the peer-to-peer sessions, or be it just the online webinar sessions. Just recently we had a webinar session with Zach Tilton. He's an AI evaluation specialist, and we completely book out the online, the Zoom meeting or whatever room it may be. It is filled to the brim, and people have to keep waiting for someone to drop out to come back in. So we would say at least 100 plus people attend. As for the last 2 to 3 sessions, we have been having almost 100 plus participants, and a lot of them are youths, because we can see from their name list. And I feel that since the versatility of the online space, how people can just join from wherever, from any part of the world, even if there is a time difference, people tend to make time for it. Like, we have people from the West, we have people from even further east from where we are based in Asia Pacific Evaluation Association. And this is a really good way for people to just get engaged into the field of M&E. Even if you are new into this gives them that foot on the door, and this gives them the opportunity to learn what could be if they follow this career. And in Bhutan's context, I feel that in our case, it's a little opposite. I feel that the offline, the physical sessions is what really gets the youth engaged, because I feel that in Bhutan, they need something that they can grasp or like hold on to, something tangible. Like, The online sessions work in some places, but in Bhutan, I feel that due to some technological difficulties, like it's very difficult for us to get stable internet at times due to the weather or because of the region itself, they feel that if they could come to a session like this, sit down, meet some of the evaluators or some of the people who are more engaged in this field and sector, this gives them an idea of what could be and what they should strive for. Not saying that the online sessions are not effective in Bhutan, it's just that it's hard for them to join and get a stable internet to join in that session. I hope that suffices a bit.
Yeah, very, very good. Let me ask, zoom in on Mongolia for the moment and, being aware of some of the great reforms ongoing at this point and, what Chimgi also elaborated, it's really interesting to see, how the government is taking on the agenda and actually, trying to instill the culture of evaluation in there. Because this is something, this takes years. It's not something that you get done because you do, an event or something, that behavioral change takes much, much longer. So I would ask Ms. Urintuya, how would you frame it, how your agency is promoting the institutionalization of evaluation through policy reforms and supporting the integration of youth and YEEs in the national evaluation ecosystem? How do you see it, going forward, and what has proven successful at this moment?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I do appreciate Diva's invitation to this wonderful conference, and especially Sabina, thank you. And I'm very happy to participate this ASEAN Evaluation Week. It's my first time in this AUB. And here are two young evaluators from our Ministry of Financial, our country. They are here, two young evaluators. So to your question, Sabina, monitoring and evaluation efforts in the government of Mongolia has been there since 1990s. However, it has been mostly directed toward monitoring, compliance, controlling. In recent years, government is taking good strides to develop evaluation in its true sense. So evaluation itself is very emerging, even so more for our organization, Authority for Government Supervision, which was established 3 years ago in 2023. Majority of our staff are young people and almost all are emerging evaluators. So most of us are learning by doing. In May this year, we implemented FORCE INSEE in Mongolia in collaboration with DEVAL and Mongolian Evaluation Association, where we embedded young and emerging evaluators of Mongolian Evaluation Association. Also, we are planning to engage them for our joint policy evaluation works in collaboration with DEVAL. I encourage our public servants and officers to become members of Mongolian Evaluation Association, which has mission and commitment to support YEEs professional development in evaluations. And also national and international conferences and forums such as these are a great platform for our YEEs and experienced public servants to learn from experienced evaluators, to participate in evaluation dialogues and to really understand the ecosystem of national evaluation system and their players, so to widen their understanding about the national evaluation system.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much. This is really, very interesting to hear that these, types of engagement are going on at parallel levels, really. It's not, just one activity trying to, bring about change, but it's really at different levels instilling it throughout and, structurally almost putting it as a part of governance. So let's follow up with Dr. Asela. I will give you even two questions, and you can combine and, make emphasis on, from your experience, how you see this agenda evolving. So on one hand, from your perspective, how you see the role of development partners in enabling international collaboration on one hand, and on the other hand, from your long-standing experience, if you could share an example of a program or partnership that you have seen, maybe designed and implemented, that has successfully embedded YEEs into, evaluation cycle, and that you could see from your experience that it has had an influence.
Thank you very much, Sabine. Good morning to everyone, and it's great to see, the full house on the last day of the conference. And I'm thinking, what to add after, listening to these inspirational presentations from Apia and Mongolia. It's great achievements from their side. So regarding development partners and, what we are doing for intergenerational partnership and, inclusion of young and emerging evaluators or youth voices. I can start with United Nations Evaluation Group, UNEC in short. UNEC established a working group. UNEC has different working groups even for national evaluation capacity development and different themes. Last year, UNEC decided in the AGM, annual general meeting, to establish a working group on young and emerging evaluators. And this working group is led by young and emerging evaluators who work for UNEC member evaluation officers. Like, there is one co-chair from UNFPA Evaluation Office, one from UNESCO, one from OHCHR, Human Rights Evaluation Office. And this UNEC YE group led an assessment on how UN agencies are engaging young people or young and emerging evaluators and capacity building of young and emerging evaluators. Across all the UN agencies, this assessment was done, and the report is published now. It's publicly available, launched a few months ago. You can also check how UN agencies incorporate young and emerging evaluators in their evaluations, in their work. It's very interesting, and some agencies, of course, have significant progress. Some still need to do more about engaging young and emerging evaluators. But it's a good lessons for governments as well as national evaluation associations as well. Now, the other flagship program I want to mention. Chimge already mentioned about this. Youth in Evaluation Initiative under the Eval for Action campaign. This is Eval for Action campaign is a digital advocacy campaign, and APIA, Mongolian Evaluation Association, and some other organizations are partners of this campaign. So meaningful engagement of youth in evaluation is a flagship program. This campaign and initiative is led by UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office, Evaluate Global Network, Global Parliamentarians Forum for Evaluation, and IOC, International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation. And there are 6 standards developed through consultative process. One for governments, and then for academia, evaluation associations, international organizations including UN, and private sector and youth organizations. So every year, the stakeholders can adapt these standards to their own organizational context, and every year by 31st March, they can do self-assessments. This is like voluntary national reviews. They can do self-assessments of these standards related to their organizational context and submit it to Eval for Action campaign. Even evaluation associations can do that. Even governments can do that. And Chimge already mentioned that they are, champions. So champions are selected through these self-assessments. It's self-assessment, but at the same time, organizations submit this, their honest review on that. This is to promote meaningful engagement of young people in evaluation. At the same time, also see best practices in different organizations. UNFPA as per UNFPA's evaluation policy, which includes capacity building of young and emerging evaluators, all the country program evaluations should have one member young and emerging evaluator. So there is evaluation team. One member should be young and emerging evaluator. It's a policy for UNFPA evaluation, and country program evaluation should have this. And I can also mention now, not only UN agencies, donor countries also have some of these policies. As an example, Finland. In 2017, Finland government made a policy decision that their evaluation should include young and emerging evaluator. So there is a big trend that international organizations, donor community includes young and emerging evaluators. That's a good trend, because Chimge mentioned in her presentation that 50% of Mongolian Evaluation Association members are young and emerging evaluators. Why is that? Because there is a big demand for evaluators. At the same time, senior evaluators are not many in many of our countries. Whenever you want to conduct an evaluation, hire an evaluator, it's difficult to find a good quality competent evaluator, right? So at the same time, existing evaluators, of course, the potential for learning and all are limited, but young and emerging evaluators are ready to learn anything, network, and get more new knowledge, and also technology as well. So there is huge potential with young and emerging evaluators. One example very quickly, UNFPA conducted formative evaluation of UNFPA support to adolescent and youth, that's global evaluation. And first time in the history of United Nations, there was youth steering committee for this particular evaluation. We just started in 2023. We started that, established a youth steering committee, young people from different, representing from different regions. This report is available on our website, or publicly available. You can see who are these youth steering committee members. They advise the evaluation team, as well as this committee was consulted throughout, from the design of the evaluation, implementation of the evaluation, report, and dissemination of results. All the steps, these young people were in the, they were jeering the process, leading the process. So that's a good example I can mention. Because of time, I would stop here, but I am happy to answer any questions or add anything, any other information you need. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much. I see the time is running. Of course, we started 10 minutes late. Nevertheless, please start forming your questions. I will ask you one more follow-up question, and with a request to answer in 1 minute. Some things that came to my mind when I was listening to you. One thing for Jigme, I would be interested to hear, you mentioned the approaching the Bhutan evaluation authorities, that it's, gaining traction. How do you do it? In very short answer, how do you do it? Are there some forums where you are present and, you can place some particular items of the agenda on the table, and then you are listened to, or are there different channels? So how are you gaining traction? Because I think this is important in many other contexts.
Thank you, Sabine, for the question. In brief, if I were to just explain the Bhutan Spear and what is being done and what we can look forward to, like from the government side, is the Evaluation Association of Bhutan always had a board member that was from the MNE division under the Prime Minister's office. But the problem, what I noticed and what I've been seeing myself being a board member now, is that there's a lot of rotation of staff. A person doesn't necessarily, just because a representative is being sent from the government, doesn't mean it's the same person throughout. People keep exiting the country or taking extended EOLs, and people just keep changing. So one issue, I know the question wasn't an issue, but one issue I've noticed is there is no permanence or stability. And what works at least is that since we have a direct representative from the government, and that too under the Prime Minister's office, whenever we have our board meetings and whatever we discuss in our informal settings or in the groups or in the emails, there is a direct link to the government, and we know that our voices may not be heard today or tomorrow, but we know that in a short period or in the near future, the representative in the board of directors will slowly push whatever we have talked to the government. Thank you.
And I'm sure all this is, somewhat relating to the gross happiness index in Bhutan. It's probably part of the policy fabric and the, cultural values. Okay, let's move on to Chimgi. I give you a difficult question. You said, so many wonderful things that the association is doing, and, even the trajectory, like what happened in 2023 was a lot. Probably in the next, venue you have a presentation on what will happen until 2030. So 2 questions, 1 minute answer, 1.5 minutes I give you, because you have 2 questions. One question is, what are the challenges you see, from your perspective, from the association, given that so many things have happened and, you made so many strides and the agenda is evolving and it's really exponentially developing. So there are wonderful things happening that we have seen. Can you identify challenges that you see still going forward, number 1? And number 2, what recommendations, very practical, very short, what recommendations would you give to other evaluation associations?
Okay, thank you, Sabine. So challenges, I think, because we are VOPI, voluntary organization, right? So all the members of our associations, they have maybe full-time jobs, very busy, high-demand experts. But we have to register in our country as an NGO, non-governmental organization, because we have now membership, so members have to transfer their membership fee, which is maybe around $7 a year. So we used to be for free, but free means no commitment. So at least a small membership we introduced 2 years ago. So financially, we do not have almost none. But if there is some accumulation of membership fee, we give it back to our YEEs events. So the challenge is most of the people, organizations, including government, they think we are NGO, we are organization, we work for our association with payment. So our challenge and lessons learned is whenever we have maybe first round of 2 meetings, we explain we are VOPI, we are voluntary, and all the members in our association doing it with passion, commitment, with the vision that we introduce this evaluation field into young people, emerging people in our country, and just serving for our vision with our passion and voluntary work. So paving that road and giving that message helps the next steps of cooperation. Otherwise, they would just try to think or give us works that, okay, you have to finish within 1 hour day, but most of our people have different lives, right? So that was the lessons learned after quite many challenges we faced during communication with other external partners. And the message to other VOPs or international organizations is that trusting our young people and engaging them on an equal footing, because when it comes to evaluation associations, VOPs, we are all equal. There is no director or there's no soldier, or we are all in the same equal footing, just with the commitment that we want to make known this evaluation field and professionalize it and serve our country. So I think that's a message I always give to our young people and emerging evaluators, because they're a little bit afraid of this field of evaluation and they do not dare to enter into this evaluation field. So given that message, we are learning by doing, and it's a voluntary work. we would like to recognize your good efforts. So these are good things that we all take to our organizations.
Great, great. So basically, forging trust and inspiring others to carry out this work. I think this is a very powerful message. Ms. Urintuya, if you have just 1 minute answer to share with us, in your view, how can these intergenerational partnerships that we are talking about, bringing together these experienced policymakers and the YEEs, be institutionalized as part of governance reforms? I know that you are doing it. I see that, from what you shared with us, you are on the way. But to make sure that this engagement is not ad hoc, but a sustained, feature of national systems.
Well, international planning to meaningfully include young and emerging evaluators in our development of national evaluation system, along with our experienced policymakers, is a key building national evaluation system sustainably. In doing so, there are, of course, benefits and risks in advocating the intergenerational partnership. Benefits would be that we learn from young emerging evaluators the innovative and bold approach to better governance, their foreign language ability, which are instrumental in research works and nurturing international partnership in evaluation. On the other hand, there are some potential risks. For example, their lack of experience might affect quality of evaluation. So if we be a bit more patent in the latter part by mentoring and supporting the YEs alongside, then I have no doubts that the benefits will outperform in the long term, resulting in more sustained pipeline of evaluators and contributing to better governance.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Dr. Asela, I give you the last question. Basically, short answer to inspire all of us. What recommendations would you give to ensure that youth inclusion is not just an aspiration, but it becomes a reality? Based on your long-standing experience, what you have seen work in practice and perhaps how the world is changing, how we have to approach things slightly differently today to actually be sure that we bring this agenda forward, which you carry with this torch from events to events.
Thank you very much. I think it's important to follow some principles. We believe in capacity building of young and emerging evaluators. We believe in that they can definitely be competent evaluators. Do quality job. At the same time, provide more opportunities for them, because now I mentioned about UNFPA evaluations, country program evaluations. There should be young and emerging evaluator. There is a process for that, because the senior evaluators or experienced evaluators in the team should mentor the young evaluator. So it's not that the young evaluator is just doing some work, but there is mentoring program. So intergenerational work is within that. So we have to have some processes within that. It's not just we ask young evaluator to join evaluation team. So it's can be capacity building, can be training, can be formal educational programs, but at the same time mentoring is important, and networking. Young evaluators need to network with senior evaluators, evaluation associations, and also learn from other experience. So networking is very important. So I see that there is boot camp happening, winter school happening in this region. These are great opportunities for networking as well, in addition to technical knowledge. And organizational commitment. As I said, in UNFPA evaluation office and UNFPA, we have evaluation policy where capacity building of young and emerging evaluators are included there, right? And also we follow the standards for youth in evaluation. So that organizational commitment is really important for that. At the same time, I would also mention about WOPEs. WOPEs are the heart of, professionalization of evaluation. And evaluation is not a recognized profession, and we all need to work together for this. And WOPEs should take lead in promoting young and emerging evaluators and work with other stakeholders, the government, development partners, academia, to promote and bring more young and emerging evaluators. And last point is about academia. We need more and more academic programs on monitoring and evaluation developed based on competencies for monitoring and evaluation professionals. So it's very important, this competency-based courses. So the curriculum should be based on the competencies, and the assessment of students should be based on the competencies of monitoring and evaluation professionals, right? So in Sri Lanka, there are, academic courses going on, and we hear that, already Mongolia is taking steps to start academic courses, and other countries also we need more and more academic courses. So where young people have paths to become professional evaluators. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we need the demand for evaluation, the enabling environment, and the leadership from the government, and we need the supply as well, and the high-quality evaluation offer that is coming through the professionalization, mentoring, networking, and academic programs. I think this is a wonderful message to end with. We invite you to ask questions. Also, sharing examples from your own context, what's working, where do you see challenges, do you see different challenges than what we discussed, and, perhaps also some inspirational notes, how do you see this, going forward, how can we strengthen this very, very important agenda. So you're most welcome to ask questions, we have time for that.
Can I ask the first question? My name is Myra. I'm from the Cook Islands. We're in the Pacific. I just wanted to thank our colleagues from Mongolia and Bhutan for sharing. I think we've learned a lot from the initiatives that you've shared with us this morning, and hopefully we'll be in a position to replicate some of those. Just on the comment that Asiela just made now about qualifications, I think delegates yesterday would have heard from our colleagues from the Secretariat of the Pacific Community that with ADB support, the Pacific has just recently launched a diploma in MNE, and our colleagues from Samoa, we actually have one of our participants from Samoa who's just enrolled in that cohort, so the cohort has just started. So hopefully when we come back next year to the next AEW, she'll be able to share about the success of that program. And as Asiela said, it is competency-based. Just on the engaging of our youth, I agree that we need to use more digital tools. We need to use social media platforms, because we all know our children are sort of fixated on social media, using YouTube, using Reels, those types of tools to help hopefully encourage our youth to explore MNE as being a career that they may want to pursue. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Just to say thank you. And the next, Asian Evaluation Week, we want to hear about your diploma. Congratulations. Yes, Xin, please.
Yeah, thank you, the distinguished panelists, to share your experience. As the moderator has insightfully pointed out that in the case of Bhutan and Mongolia, we see very enabling, conducive environment to engage young and emerging evaluators. I have a comment. In some situations, in some countries, once the, this environment does not exist for whatever reason, financial reasons, institutional barriers or capacity, the missing capacity, it's much easier to form a network of young and emerging evaluators than establishing formal evaluation associations. So the YEEs network can serve as an entry point to generate awareness of evaluation, build capacity, foster to the overall environment. And also, young people, they tend to network across countries, across regions. So when we're working at international organizations, we need to be aware of this and create opportunities for them. That's why when UNICEF organized the summer evaluation boot camp, the first one started from Mongolia, and then we see the opportunity for neighboring countries to learn from this experience. We expanded to China and then more globally. So just a comment to show that when we support YEEs, we also need to be strategic.
Yes, I agree. We have to be strategic, and a very, very good comment that in environments where you cannot just go full force, you have to start from a different perspective and start with an informal network, which can grow then and become something recognized and more formal. No, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope. Director Sarah, please.
Kia ora, everyone. Thank you. Wonderful information that was shared this morning. From the Cook Islands, small population, we have people there that are wearing multiple hats. So my question is around what's been happening in Mongolia or Bhutan, your attraction and retention strategies for young people, in this pathway of being an evaluator or emerging evaluator. With us, there's a competition of our young people wanting to be in sports and other areas. How do we attract them to be, evaluators, planners? So that's the question. What are your attraction and retention strategies for young people in this space? Thank you.
Very good question. Let's take another one, the lady here, exactly. Okay. And then
my question is, on the note of mentoring young people, I'm actually an educator, and I see a shift in the excitement of adopting AI without really thinking what is the implication for learning, for critical thinking especially. So, my question is, how do you see the threat of AI, competing with us mentoring the YEEs? Because, in terms of AI, I was conversing with some of these AI experts that keep telling me that, oh, you can train the AI to do this, to do that. Then at the time that I take to train AI, I might as well train a YEE, right, to do, because the YEE is a human, and the human can sustain for much longer time, and they contribute to society, all right? So my key concern is the threat of AI as we, jump onto the bandwagon very quickly to adopt AI without thinking of all these different implications for our young people, that actually reduce their critical thinking. There's already a research that talks about this. And so what is your thought on this?
And give us the organizational affiliate.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm Dr. Sylvia Chung. I'm from Protean Consulting. I'm also the Vice President for Malaysian Evaluation Society, Malaysia.
Malaysia, perfect. So I would say the first question from Director Sarah goes to our Mongolian friends to answer how is the attraction and retention strategy. And then we go to the threat of AI, that I give you a spoiler, maybe it's an opportunity of AI, and asking Dr. Asela to respond wisely. Okay, Timki, you start.
Hello, yeah. Thanks very much for that question, retention and attraction. So during my presentation, I briefly mentioned that evaluation field itself is quite daunting for most of the young people, because they think usually the financial field, they have CFA and CPA, so they think evaluation is somebody who has very high-ranking professional experience or expertise. So we learned that during our journey, because whenever we have events and the things, I converse sometimes with people, and they say, "Can I become your member, or is it very high treasure, like treasuring field?" And no, we are open. Anyone who would like to join our as members, it's open. And they always astonished, because they always feel it's very closed door field. And then we explain. So in the last 1 year, our Evaluate chapter Mongolia is taking some initiative to demystify this by what's evaluation actually mean, putting evaluation in young people's language. And also they create nice posters, they go to universities and having career week and what evaluation opportunities, etc. So this Eval for Action Youth in Evaluation Week, this campaign has been a great platform that we engage with the young people, students, intentionally talking about this field. And also we had 2 years ago youth 6-month internship for young and emerging evaluators, and we did evaluation of its internship. And then they enjoyed the internship, and they said it was very great, like lots of benefit. But the most lacking area was they didn't have much exposure to how to apply it, and they didn't know how to where to get resource or organizations to do practical experience of evaluation. So learning from that evaluation findings, I also, my company, we signed the manifest. Okay, we'll involve young people in our evaluation work. And also the UNICEF Mongolia office also taking some strides in involving young people in the evaluation team, etc. So I think by engaging more with the young people, listening to them, and working on that, I think this will attract them, retain them. Yeah.
Last words, threat of AI.
Okay, thank you for the question. Now, with AI, we know that young people are more familiar with the technology, right? 2-year-old daughter knows how to navigate in the phone than the father, right? That's how it is. And when it comes to AI, we say that responsible use of AI for evaluation, and UNFPA Evaluation Office has a policy for use of AI. And all the TORs for evaluators, we have a section included about AI, how to use AI, and how to declare that use of AI. At the same time, we know that there are some areas, risk as well, we need to think about. Now, we realized that the M&E courses we run in Sri Lanka, and there are module assignments, things like that, and students can do the module assignments from home. And some are AI generated, right, the answers. So we can really see that AI generated answers. Now, what we have done regarding this is, I'm just mentioning as an example, that if there are 4 assignments, 3 assignments they can do from home. Last assignment, it's an assignment, not an exam, but they have to do it in the university. So there is like 3 hours time given, and it's in a kind of exam hall, and they do the. So we wanted to see the difference between the first 3 assignments they have done and the marks, and also the last assignment, because we know that of course people can use AI to get help. At the same time, it should not be completely that they depend on AI and they don't know anything, just get something and submit the assignment. So without the knowledge they get the certificate. That shouldn't be the case. Now when it comes to young evaluators, so again now conducting evaluations or monitoring activities, how they use AI. So definitely we are going to include AI in the many courses as well, and for training programs as well, because how to do responsible use of AI in monitoring and evaluation. So we have to take advantage of the technology, at the same time avoid the risks. I think we can talk about this a lot, but because of the time I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, looking at this as a responsible use of AI, it becomes an opportunity. So with that, let me close. Thank you so much to all our panelists. Yes. Oh, sure.
Just
Add
wanted to
it.
add, I'm sorry, AEW Secretary team, I just will take 1 minute. First, I would like to congratulate the Pacific on the creation of the M&A course, and hopefully we'll see the person taking the diploma next year. Congratulations. Secondly, when it comes to, as mentioned by the second commenter, they mentioned how certain countries don't have the VOPEs or they don't have the national chapters. But for example, if I were to give an example of China itself, China has recently made an evaluate chapter. So they do not have a national chapter, but they do have a youth chapter. So as how ma'am stated, maybe this can be a pathway of how the national chapter can come through the youth. Coming to the first question, I'll just take 20 seconds each. When it comes to attraction and retention, what APIA is doing is, APIA along with Evaluate Asia and Evaluate Global Chapter is we do this thing called a winter school, where we bring in young and emerging evaluators, people who've never attended such event or even heard of evaluation but are interested. We bring them in, we give them 1-2 days of workshops and trainings from experienced evaluators. Even Dr. Asela attended it last year at Sri Lanka. So we are going to be doing something similar in Tokyo, Japan this year for the APIA Conference 2025. And then after this, we also have a follow-up where we keep reaching out to them every few months for trainings, and we also keep them involved in our webinar sessions. And finally, in the AI topic, this has been a heated topic for the last couple of months, even for APIA, and I would just my kind suggestion to Dr. Sylvia is that if you go to our APIA YouTube, we just recently had a webinar on AI. So over there, we discuss how we don't have to consider AI as a competition. It can be seen as a friend, and we need not necessarily have to learn to teach AI how to do things. There are already people who are experienced in AI and want to become an evaluator. We can use them as a means to funnel both these topics and then try to bring it together holistically. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And to close the circle, let's give Ms. Orintuya the chance to say some final remarks.
Thank you. I want to say giving opportunities to young and emerging evaluators in evaluation by learning by doing, and mentioning them alongside and being patient with their growth, exposing them to a bigger picture of evaluation ecosystem and community are key to strengthening the national evaluation system sustainability.
Very, very good. Very important. Thank you so much for that. Let us close, but don't leave the room. So thank you so much to all the panelists and the target audience here for your wonderful questions and the rich discussion. Today's conversation has reminded us that institutionalizing evaluation and engaging youth are not parallel agendas. They are mutually reinforcing. They have to reinforce each other to be sustainable. National leadership can open doors, but it is intergenerational partnerships that will keep evaluation systems vibrant, inclusive, and forward-looking. The cases we have heard show that Asia-Pacific is already innovating in this space, and the momentum is clear. Let's carry forward the spirit of collaboration between generations, across sectors, and across borders to strengthen evaluation as a true driver of good governance in the region. Thank you so much, and I would like to invite you all to take a picture together with the torch. Thank you.